British tried to make sense of India and they forced Indians to define themselves. I think we're a religion which can't decide what to call itself. Sanatan meant any religion which believed in rebirth. Jainism believes in rebirth, it's Sanatan. Buddhism believes in rebirth, it's Sanatan. Every action has cause and every action has consequences. It's not about God or rules or anything. It means every action has consequences.
I want to understand your perspective when we look at Bharat, as they call it today, and we look at Sanatan, we look at Hinduism, and we also look at Hindutva. For a layperson, how would you define these three different categories?
Well, it is ideas that come from India. That's it. I don't think anybody uses Hindutva anymore. That's, like Gen Z, everything changes every few years. So I think we're a religion which can't decide what to call itself. So for a long time, we called ourselves Hindu, and then somehow that became boring. So they decided to call it Hindutva. Then that became boring. So now the new branded version is Sanatan Dharma, which nobody understands what it means. But I think after 10 years, even that will be forgotten.
So, according to you, what exactly is Sanatan, if you would want to date back to the roots?
See, there is no definition of Sanatan. So when we try to define it, we're making a mistake. We're trying to see origins and all that. These are political words which are used. And we should be very careful. When today somebody says Sanatan, they really mean something very political. But originally, Sanatan meant any religion which believed in rebirth. So Jainism believes in rebirth, it's Sanatan. Buddhism believes in rebirth, it's Sanatan. Hinduism believes in rebirth, it's Sanatan. Because rebirth is you'll never die, so it's always forever. So the religion of forever. Rebirth religions. It's as simple as that. It's not very complicated. People make it sound very complicated. And rebirth is something as an idea which emerged in India. So it's a religion of India.
So, by the logic, all of us are just Sanatan on this land.
Anybody who wants to believe in rebirth, that is important. Because it is about every action has cause and every action has consequences. It's not about God or rules or anything. It means every action has consequences and you have to repay the price of whatever you do in life. Anything you consume, you have to repay the price. That's common in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. So all three of them use the word Sanatan. That's it.
So you spoke about how each of us could be called Sanatan because the baseline again is very common. But do you think where our definitions and our understanding of Sanatan have changed because of the colonialism that India has had?
British tried to make sense of India and they forced Indians to define themselves. But Hinduism cannot be defined. That's the reason the word Sanatan is used, because there's no beginning, there is no end. We don't know where it starts, where it ends. What is there in North India is not there in South India. What is there in East India is not there in the West. It's very difficult to define. The only thing that we define in India is that every action has consequences. Nothing is permanent. Now, these ideas don't exist, for example, in the Middle East. They don't exist in West Asia. They don't exist in Europe. This idea of consequences. In other religions, like China, if I ask people, Acha, separate Sanatan Dharma from Chinese religion, they won't have an answer because they don't know what Chinese religion is. The only religion they know about is Islam and Christianity because it's well documented. But China is Japan, these are big civilizations and we don't know how to define them. So this burden of defining your religion is what the British imposed on us. Please tell us what is it. And you can't do that to China, you can't do that to Japan, you can't do that to Korea, you can't do that to Vietnam. You'll say Buddhism, but they'll say, yeah, that's one part of it. Like in Japan, people, when they die, Buddhism is important. When they marry like Catholics. But for all their temple festivals, they'll do Shinto. So what religion are they?
What is Shinto?
Shinto is the faith of Japan. The people of Japan have created a faith based on their mountains, their rivers, their rocks, which is their faith. And that is Shinto. China has its own base, but they wiped it out because of communism. But essentially, the fact that they still, believe in Confucian thoughts and traditions, and Chinese have never really liked too much of philosophy. They didn't like metaphysics. They're very pragmatic people. So they created their own religion. It has nothing to do with Christianity. It has nothing to do with Islam. India is like that. We are a large country, many ecosystems. The only thing that united India was belief in rebirth.
So Shinto must be very familiar to Sanatan then, because
Not really. This is, this is the kind of nonsense that is being propagated. Japanese don't like Indians. and they're very clear that they are very happy with themselves. They'll take some ideas from everybody and they'll figure it out themselves. But we want them to be so it shows our inferiority complex. The Japanese don't want to be with anyone, Chinese don't want to be with anyone, but Indians want to be Akhanda Bharat, and that reveals a terrible insecurity complex of 20th century politicians. I think Hinduism is what ideas that emerged between the Himalayas and the oceans, and we are a kind of a relatively isolated country connected to the world through monsoons. That's it. So we have given ideas to the west, to the east, but that's it. It's not a colonial conquest. So one must be careful of these WhatsApp forwards.